I have something here that I want to share with you. This right here I got from Danny and Daniela. It's a gratitude journal. Isn't that great? I think it's a great idea. They put it together so we can actually write in things we're grateful for. And just as I said in the message, gratitude is the attitude that sets the altitude and shapes our latitude in life. And that certainly applies to marriage. When we are grateful to God and to each other, to our spouses, when we are grateful to God for our spouses, and we practice that gratitude, we seek it in our lives, we cultivate it, it sets the altitude for our marriage, and it shapes the latitude. It empowers us to serve one another. And that is key. So here's a set of questions that I want to commend to you for this week, alongside with the session in preparation for next Sunday. The first part of the homework is memory verse. And this is the one. Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. Let's memorize this together. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. That's verse 24. Let's memorize that, commit it to heart. Now, second part of the homework is prayer. And I just want us to pray for hurting marriages, for growth, and through faithfulness, freedom, and courage, I would say, to put boundaries in place if there's need for boundaries. Okay, we want to move from bad to good and from good to better. And better marriages that would help other marriages. Now, real quick on leaving, here's a few questions. I'm just going to review them for us. Do your parents tend to be under-involved or over-involved in your marriage? Discuss that with your spouse. What have you done to adjust and grow in regards to your respective parents? What boundaries ought you consider? Now, here's one that goes a bit beyond parents, because the leaving may also involve past attachments. With social media and everything, sometimes you can hold on to past attachments. Obviously, when you say I do to your spouse, you leave all that behind. But sometimes in moments of difficulty, of testing, those memories may come back. How are you doing in this area? You may have capacity this week for it, and you may not. But I don't want you to avoid it. And I pray that, we become real with one another, and we actually nip something in the bud, right? Or if there is some sort of past attachment, that by God's power and with his grace, that you break free from it. Cleaving cannot happen without leaving, and oneness certainly cannot happen without these. Now, moving on to cleaving, how can you be more patient and less fixed towards your mate? When we cleave to one another, we recognize that we're different. We don't try to change each other, but we seek to cleave, to be committed in faithfulness to one another and accepting the person that you married. Encouraging one another to change according to Christ's likeness, not according to what we want, meaning I just want to make you like myself. We talked about these glues. Which one would you want to work on? Look over it, discuss. Next, here's a question to consider. When you got married, whether it's a few years back or maybe it's over a decade or 2 decades back, what did you see in each other? What were the reasons you believed you could become one? Maybe it's time to reconnect with that. I also added here, let me actually go up, an inventory. You'll find here on this last page, I'm going to send to you a simple inventory: spiritual oneness, intellectual oneness, mind oneness, social oneness, physical oneness, areas to consider in our lives. Look, you don't have to go through all of this. Maybe you just tackle one question this week. The key is to spend time together working on your marriage. And maybe you get half an hour, maybe you get 15 minutes, maybe you get 90 minutes, which really is the ideal for every couple to have regular 90-minute, like an hour and a half time of connection. But start where you can, start with prayer, a simple prayer together this week. That's a win. That's a win. If there's further questions you have, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. If there's a win or you want to share something encouraging that God is doing in your marriage, I'd love to hear about it. Please don't hesitate to reach out. And if you're hitting a really tough moment, or you're recognizing, you know what, we are in crisis mode, please reach out. I'd love to come alongside you, pray. Brother Doreen would also become available, and other mature, strong couples in our church. You don't have to fight alone, and you certainly don't have to stay in the dark. There is power in the Word of God, in the community of God, and there is hope for transformation.